this thing on? Hello, hello. Welcome to Open Bike Night, the Strange New Worlds podcast where your personal logs are the prime directive. I'm your host, producer John, here today to dig up the frozen corpse of Season 1 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, brush off the frozen baby Gorn bodies, and just see if we can get a little bit more life out of this thing. But joining me, as always, my trusty, let's call him brand new to the ship, Ensign, Jesse Bailey.
Okay, but just to remember, Cameron is not a ensign anymore. He's a lieutenant. So if you call him an ensign, you owe him a drink.
Oh, I thought we were playing if we call him an ensign, he has to drink. Because I was going to introduce, and our newest promotion, Ensign Cameron.
I've shown up here in my dress uniform, ready to go, everybody. Hey, oh my gosh. What is happening?
See, we're naked, the rest of us. So
every time.
Yeah. But you look great.
Yeah.
Well, at least I didn't have to pin my my comm badge into my bare skin.
or your
that is the part
Day
that hurts
badge.
the most.
Yeah. Well, we are here leading up to Season 4 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds to look all the way back to just about almost exactly 3 years ago? 4 years ago?
4, right?
No,
5?
3.
4. The first episode aired on May 5th, 2022.
Wow. 4
Thank
years
you,
ago.
Jesse.
Thank you, Jesse. Yeah. I thought
Yeah.
my brain was telling me it was 2025. I have been incredibly sick for the last week, folks. So that's why the voice and if I seem a little off. But we put out the call for our listeners and callers to go ahead and take a look back with us at Season 1. Do we want to just go episode by episode, guys, or what do you think?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column
Okay.
B. Did you give a column B?
I mean, I think it's kind of a free form discussion. Because I would like to open with, we had 1 write-in and 5 calls. I'd like to open with our write-in because it's pretty awesome. This is a new caller, writer. Ashina says, my favorite episode from Strange New Worlds Season 1 is episode 9. That would be All Those Who Wander. I loved the danger horror edge of it. Favorite scene would have to be Pike's monologue about keeping peace in episode 1. I had watched the Kelvin movies when I was younger and knew the iconic characters and actors behind TOS, but Strange New Worlds was what really pulled me fully into Star Trek. Something about that scene just stayed with me and turned me into a full-on Trekkie. Well, that's pretty amazing. I'm glad to know that Strange New Worlds is doing what all the previous shows have done before it.
And we're glad to have you aboard. Thanks for the write-in. It's always really cool, I think, for me to hear that this show really is bringing in new fans and solidifying fandom for others, because as the person who spends, time on our social media, I see all of the complaints about the show as well. So I really try to tunnel vision in on the positivity. And I'm kind of known for that here on the show, but I think that Season 1, Episode 9 is a really good example of how this show is able to perfectly kind of match their plot points with their genre swings, right? Like, this is definitely, this episode is arguably just Alien, right? Like, it is very much Alien. A lot of things lend themselves to the comparison, but it still manages to have its own identity. And I know that the loss of Hemmer is something that upset a lot of people, and I will stand by that being a good thing. You want to care when a character dies. If the character dies and you have no reaction, then the goal has not been met, in my opinion. So I really love that episode as well. There's even a little bit of like Predator vision in that episode. Yeah. It's a smorgasbord of references, and I love it.
Yeah,
for sure.
I just so Cam, you didn't rewatch that episode for this, right?
That I ran out a little time and skipped that one. Although I've seen it so many times,
right.
I felt like
I did rewatch it. It's better now than I even gave it credit for back then. I like rewatching and just going with my gut feeling on what I was watching with each episode. That one might be up there in my top 2 for the season now. If like it's. I can see coming back to rewatch that more often than I thought I would.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to Jesse's point, I'm still like, I love him. Rewatching this reminded me how much I love him. Rewatching season 1 and how much I miss him. He's a great character. I still remember when he died in episode 9. I was like, huh, that was a strange character to choose for that. Like, why not make him one of the main characters? Why, you're going to kill off a character. If your plan is to kill off a character and get that emotional beat, why use the character who's only in 5 of the 7 preceding episodes or 5 of the 8? Anyway, yeah, like, I don't know. I thought that was interesting, but overall, yeah, I know it's a great episode.
I think it works specifically because the moments we do see him, he's connecting with Uhura and Spock and, you know, having kind of that mentor relationship with Uhura. So it adds the emotional weight. And I mean, we've talked about it before. They're in a box. Like, there are some characters they cannot kill, right? Yeah. So I think that it works. And, you know, not that he needs it, but shout out to Bruce Horak for really bringing that character to life in a way that makes people miss him a lot.
Yeah,
for sure.
Jesse, were you able to watch all 10 episodes for your rewatch?
I didn't get through all 10. What I did was I went back to the ones that I wanted to kind of give another shot to, because I know, like, I have my favorites from this season. Memento Mori is definitely sitting there at the top. And there's no episodes in this season that I don't like. But there are ones that I kind of wanted to, like John was saying, on that rewatch, see how it hits. And for me, it's Children of the Comet. Like, this is, I think, one of my favorite episodes of the series now. Like, there is so much in this that really embodies the Star Trek mythos, right? Like, you have the other culture that's not necessarily wrong. They just have a different way of going about things. We get to see so much here. This is like kind of our first real introduction to Sam Kirk, who we all know and love with, you know, rabid devotion now. And we get to see him do his job. We get to see Uhura.
This is where the devotion started. I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And we get to see Uhura shine. We get to see the Enterprise fly the most beautiful flight that we have like ever seen an Enterprise do. Yeah. This is the coolest Enterprise flight that had ever been shown up to this point, which of course contributes to the rabid devotion to Ortegas that I have. So, and I love the children aliens, the Mahani worshippers, like such a cool effect, like very simple, like the pulsating on the head is very Telosian, you know, like it's real simple, but it's video calls with an alien and a disagreement. And I'm like, put that in my veins all day long. Like, that is pure Star Trek right there. And I think it really should be up there in the top ranks of the season. But I mean, there's a lot of really good stuff this season. I mean, I'm sure at some point Cameron will talk about the Elysian Kingdom, but like this, I think, was for me, my indicator, like, okay, yeah, this is going to work. Like, the first episode is a good episode. It's very Star Trek heavy. It's pretty well-trodden ground for Star Trek, right? So you're kind of like, okay, they're doing a Star Trek episode. All right, let's see what's next. And this one really shows you you're going to actually get new things in this series. It is not a remake. It is not a reboot. It's not, you know, let's just do whatever we know will work. This is where you get shown there's going to be new stuff here and you're going to be invested in it.
What do you think is new in Children of the Comet?
The, like, kind of the expansion on Uhura, as I was mentioning, because, like, she gets stuff to do in TOS, right? But it's not a ton. And there's not a lot of, like, people telling her, I think outside of maybe Scotty, I'm nearly certain Scotty says it once or twice in TOS, and Kirk may say it once or twice, like, you are the only person that can do this. This has to be you. And we get that from Spock to Uhura. And then, of course, there's a great animated series episode where Uhura literally saves the day and she's captaining and all this stuff, and it's really good. But to get kind of the basis for that, like the first instance of her being told you have to step up and seeing, okay, maybe she doesn't feel ready for it, but she totally knocks it out of the park. And then, of course, Sam Kirk. Up until this point, Sam Kirk is a dead William Shatner with a fake mustache, right? So it's like we're expanding on the Trek that we know. And if you hadn't watched TOS, this is 100% new for you, right? Like, you know, Uhura maybe as the fan dance person, which is like, she's so much more than the fan dance.
I mean, I'd argue like they did that with the Kelvin movies, is give her more stuff to do. But I see what you're saying, and
For sure.
To that point, like, I mean, I think Children of the Comet was one of the ones on my rewatch too, where I was like, I mean, I still have a little bit of a problem with the third act, and just like I didn't know how the music fit in with everything. But overall, like, it's an amazing episode. It felt very classic Trek episode to me, which was kind of the reason for my questioning there. But I noticed that they do a really good job of introducing Spock as a character for like the two people watching this episode who might not know who Spock is. But I noticed this, I'm like, oh, they're introducing who he is as a character, and it's done really well in this episode, the way he's playing off of Uhura. And of course, it's the start of the Sam Uhura shipping for me, just as a mentor-mentee ship. Which again, I'm like, well, if you were going to drop this and you're going to kill him, or just put him in the spot, but I loathe to say to take some Sam away from me, because I really love everything he does in this episode.
Well, and don't worry, they'll take him away from you.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Again, this one was even better because I remember liking it when we first watched it, and it was like, yeah, this does definitely feel very classic Trek. It's solid through and through it, because I remember thinking, okay, the music thing, like you said, Cam, it's a little confusing, but then they get past it so quickly that it doesn't snag the episode. It doesn't slow it down any. It's just like, okay, it's kind of an interesting moment where they're sitting there singing together.
Yeah. I think the first time I was like, what does the music have to do with the like technicality they use to destroy the comet at the end? And this time I was like, oh, they don't have anything to do with each other.
Yeah,
got it.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
That's not great, but it's better than what I was thinking before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're remembering, and then they're looking again like, okay, I guess I never actually put it together that was the sequence of events when I first watched it. I think also this episode introduced what I was like, oh man, La'an, there's a lot of self-doubt in Uhura in this season, but there's a lot of self-confidence in La'an in this season. It may come off as bitchy sometimes, but yeah, I really it's like, oh, it's fun to revisit season 1 La'an and her story. It's a well-done story.
I forget. That was a big shock for me rewatching season 1. I was like, I forgot how much La'an has changed.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously we've talked about how she changes in season 3, but I was still like, yeah, but I mean, on the surface, she's always been like this kind of charming, sweet, fun. Oh no. Oh no. She is cold and hard in these first few episodes. It's really interesting. And then the thing I noticed is in Quality of Mercy, when she comes up and hugs Pike, and Pike's like, whoa, hug, what's happening? Like seeds for what's happening. I wonder if they knew they were going to kind of melt her character some, or if that was something they picked up on and then decided to follow up with. That was there's a lot of interesting foreshadowing in Quality Mercy I'll get to later.
Yeah, and I think my last note for Children of the Comet is if you had seen a bunch of TOS, it's nice to see kind of what should be the first musical moment for Spock and Uhura, because they have these moments in TOS where like Spock is sitting and playing his lyre, and Uhura's like, oh, let me sing. And they're in the cafeteria, and everybody's like, oh, it's Spock and Uhura singing a song together. And it's like, kind of feels out of place in TOS. You're like, why would this be happening? Like, but you understand for Spock, it's not necessarily this like emotional expression, although it is partially that. It's an appreciation for the structure of music and the math behind it. And it's like, I really feel like there's something for everyone here.
Yeah, I think so. Speaking of something for everyone, let's go ahead and hear from one of our callers. Here is Melanie.
Hi guys, here's Melanie, and I can't keep quiet about season 1. It just felt so magical to me. It reminded me why I love Star Trek so much in the first place. The friendship, the companionship, space, the ship itself. So beautiful. The bridge especially stood out to me because it felt inspired by the original series, but newer, brighter, and more alive. It was nostalgic while still feeling modern, and I loved spending time there every episode. And every episode had something special and felt different, but the whole season still felt connected through Pike and the crew. I loved the balance between adventure, emotion, humor, and hope. I think one of my favorite episodes is probably The Elysian Kingdom. It was creative, it was emotional, funny, and just completely different from anything else in the season. Seeing the crew transformed into fantasy characters was so much fun, and Anson as Zeroth was honestly amazing. You could tell the cast was having fun, and that made the episode even more enjoyable to watch. But I also absolutely loved Equality of Mercy. Watching Pike meet his older self and seeing how hard he tries to change fate was emotional and fascinating at the same time. That episode really stayed with me afterward. And of course, the very first episode has a special place in my heart, and my favorite moment is from here, and you can probably guess it. Yes, seeing Pike on his horse in the snow and living in that cabin. It immediately hit me emotionally. Anson played him with so much warmth and sadness at the same time. You could already feel the weight he carries knowing what his future will be, and it honestly broke my heart a little, and I just fell in love with both Anson and Chris Pike. And overall, I thought it was an amazing first season, and it made me excited for every new episode. Live long and prosper.
I think one of the things I also really liked about that first episode is that it shows you right away, like, Pike is definitely kind of the mold for a lot of the Star Trek captains we'll see after. You just didn't know that before, right? Like, oh, they love horses. That's a Kirk thing. That's a Picard thing.
Yeah.
Like, they love cabins. That's a Kirk thing. Like, and they love to push back on their superior officers. Like, Star Trek captains get a lot of leeway, right? Like, you can refuse a direct order several times.
So, yeah, straight to an admiral's face, yeah.
As long as you have known that admiral for a while. Yeah. Like, there's absolutely some
Especially it really needs to be like, rank. Do we need to stop having like these captains, previous captains, be the ones to give them more? Maybe we should send people who don't have personal relationships with them to give them orders.
Right. Yep. But it's also probably, you're more likely to take an order you don't want if you know the person giving it, right?
Perhaps.
And yeah, I love that whole scene. I love the introduction of Robert April. I think Adrian Holmes has done a great job with that character. We haven't seen a ton of that character, but what we have seen, you really get this image of a guy who is caught between what he wants to do and what he has to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's great for an admiral, right? You have responsibilities, but you're not a robot. You're still a person and you have thoughts and feelings about everything. So I think he does a great job balancing that.
What I noticed with Pike there, it's just I was watching him cook breakfast and I was like, oh, we're establishing Pike the cook. And then it made me think, like, did he just have a really hard time on Discovery without having access to a huge kitchen to cook his emotions out? Like, that must have been season 2 of Discovery. I got to rewatch now just through that lens of like Pike just being blue-balled with cooking.
That's a good point.
He's crying at every meal. People are like, what's wrong? He's like, this just, I can't hang.
What I really appreciated about watching episode 1 was all the heavy lifting it did to lay all the groundwork for the Pike Patel relationship. Oh, wait, that's right. We had 2 minutes in this whole season. And he slept with somebody else and spent longer romancing her than he did Patel in this season. Just saying, the Pike Patel relationship wasn't that deep, folks.
That shows the chemistry between those two.
It wasn't planned either.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they watched back through some of the stuff with Melanie Scrofano and they were like, hey, wait, she's really good. Like, let's put some more Patel in this. And I do wonder at what point that happened, because like having her, she's much more central in 2 and 3.
Yeah.
To your point, John. So I wonder if it was like they got most of the way through season 1 and they're like, you know what, we should have her be the person that has to show up and arrest Una. Like, this would be a great way to keep her around for the next couple seasons. Or if that was part of the plan and they just didn't realize how much they liked her. It's very cool to me, though, to find that kind of thing in a series where it's like, oh yeah, this character was meant to be a one-off. And then we figured, you know what? Let's write you 6-7 more episodes. Yeah. Like, oh, I said it.
Wow.
Sorry.
Do it. Do the motion.
I can't.
Do it.
I can't.
I also
Folks,
noticed
he's doing the hand motion.
I am not. He's lying.
Una's VO starts off all of Strange New Worlds. That was kind of took me by surprise. And then I went, oh, of course, it makes sense with the plot of this episode. And Pike's currently asleep in a cabin, so he's not doing any captain's logs. But I do wonder, there's been a lot of chatter on our Discord about which characters we want to see more of. Una's definitely one of them. It seems like since Ad Astra per Aspera, she's kind of just been there and just been number one. So I do wonder if they're going to do more with her as a character going forward. I wonder if she will bookend us somehow. I mean, it makes more sense that Kirk will be the final captain's log on the last episode, but maybe they'll find a way to bring in Una for it. I don't know. Just got me thinking. Got the gears turning hearing her voice there.
And that's another thing I think that Strange New Worlds does really well. And it was a good idea to, say, well, let's take this character and give her something to do. Because in that original pilot, like, she's very badass. Yeah. She's a really cool character and does a lot of stuff that's very important. And it's shown she's clearly very trusted by Pike. But no series, or to your point, the Kelvin movies, had ever tried to like bring her back or flesh her out or do anything with her. So I'm really glad that we get this. Now, having said all that, I like her appearance in the first episode. Ghosts of Illyria is still one that I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what the word is for it. I'm not lukewarm because I like the episode, but it is the episode where you're like, okay, so she's invincible? Like,
well, that's my note.
She not be damaged?
She is a superhero. Let's use that. Like, if this were TNG, Geordi gets sent off to look at shit with his visor all the time. Data, it's Data. Data does anything we need Data to do. Worf is, yeah, go fight the barrel war. Anyway, any other show is like, here's what's special about this character. We're going to utilize that aspect of them. She is an alien with alien powers that they've just kind of forgotten
by
about.
The next episode. She's injured in the next episode in Memento Mori. And it's like, what? We just established, and we know there's ongoing continuity here. That she may not have healing factor, but
are so much worse than like a straight dose of radiation. Yeah,
apparently so. Yeah,
She missed that genetic upgrade, the anti-shard upgrade.
And I do wonder, like, is this an attempt to not fall into the Data is the only one who can save the ship every other week pattern, right? Like,
but we love that as viewers.
Also, we do love that.
We want the action figure to do the action figure.
But remember, she was probably the most expensive cast member at this point.
Oh, by a miles. Yeah. I mean, like, you don't pull the character who played a receptionist in one episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm without spending big.
Exactly. We know what Jesse's been watching recently. All right, let's go ahead and hear from another one of our callers. Here is Michelle.
Hey, Open Pike Night. I heard you guys were revisiting season 1 of Strange New Worlds, and one of my favorite experiences of season 1 was getting to podcast with you guys on episode 6, Lift Us Where Suffering Cannot Reach. Somewhat of a controversial episode. I believe you coined it the Battery Babies episode and had some pretty awesome merch connected with that, some of which I have. Thank you very much. And overall, probably not my favorite episode of season 1, but it was just a lot of fun to unpack it with you guys. And I really liked the beginning with Alora and Pike and kind of that little romance. But, there was also a great focus on the crew, but it kind of took a turn. There were some ethical quandaries, which connects with my Crusher connection from back then and now, which is Beverly Crusher is always facing ethical quandaries. And back in 2022, I had no idea the ethical quandaries she would face in Picard Season 3. Buckle up, Cam. You're in for a good ride on that. Anyhow, I also want to shout out Children of the Comet from Season 1, which really focused on Uhura. I love that. And the Elysian Kingdom, which was fun, but it also had that gut punch at the end. And really loved Mbenga in that episode. But I am looking forward to your coverage of Strange New Worlds Season 4. I would say the one thing reflecting back on Season 1 and the podcast that we did on Episode 6, I had mentioned how we had all these different Star Treks. So, like, let's say that episode or Strange New Worlds wasn't your jam, you had Discovery or Picard. Like, there was a lot out there, a lot on the horizon, and it's looking like there may be a drought coming. But the good news is we still have podcasts like yours and many others in the Trek fandom that can keep spreading the love for Star Trek and moving forward into the future. So thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Talk to you soon. Live long and prosper.
Thank you, Michelle. It was great talking about that episode with you and everything we've ever talked about with you and hearing you call. I like Lift Us Where Suffering Cannot Reach quite a lot. It's a great Strange New World. It's one of like our most complete Strange New Worlds we've visited in this series. That's another thing I noticed with my rewatch. Lots of Strange New Worlds in season 1.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't always spend a ton of time there, but Children of the Comet, we've got that great planet there. That was definitely something. I know we've complained about it a lot. I think we even did in season 1, but so maybe it's just compared to season 3. You're like, okay, yeah, season 1 did have some new planets. Good for them.
Yep. I did not rewatch Lift Us for Suffering Cannot Reach because I think it's the one I've watched the most from first season 1. I like it. It's a good, like you said, it's a good Strange New World. It's a good Strange New Worlds episode. It's a good, like Cam has mentioned before, not unconnected. It's a good standalone, episode. If you're going to show somebody one episode of Strange New Worlds, they're going to be like, "Wow, you chose that one," but also they would get the idea. I was like, I know I like that episode. I'm going to move on to others that I want to re-examine more.
Well, and it feels classic Trek, which I feel like I've said about a lot of these so far. And that was another thing I noticed with this is, people, again, complain about maybe Strange New Worlds taking too many big swings. And I've been like, well, they always take big swings, guys. No, not really. I mean, rewatching season 1, I'm like, it's Elysian Kingdom. That is the one big swing of the season. Everything else feels very Star Trek. Yes, we have aliens, but it feels like Star Trek aliens. Yes, we have Memento Mori, which is very much a submarine movie, but Star Trek has always done submarine movies. So like that was something going back and rewatching. I'm like, I like the big swings. I've come to accept that the makers of Strange New Worlds like making big swings. So I'm here to watch with them. But watching the season, I was like, I can see where people are coming from. That like this feels a little more straightforward Trek with like the one outlier with a 10 episode season that feels balanced compared to previous Trek series.
Well, and I think to your point about this feeling like classic Trek, like you could transpose all of the TOS cast into parts of this episode and it is a TOS episode.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Spock can still do the Spock thing, but like, this is Pike at his kirkiest. Like, oh, I just happen to know the most beautiful person on this planet. And, the way this is going to work is I'll need to spend some time in her bedroom to, diplomatically resolve the situation, sort of a thing. And John, I guess, if you were going to show somebody this episode as their first Strange New Worlds, just tell them like, hey, I promise you there are fewer desiccated children in the rest of the series if you choose to keep watching.
And I will ask for all those 4 years ago who were like, no, I would not make that deal. It's like, how about now? How about now? Would you make that deal now for our planet, for our world? It's just one kid. That's all I'm saying.
Well, and it's very, people, I know another question or maybe complaint that I've heard from folks is there's not enough ethical dilemmas in Strange New Worlds. And it's like, I mean, this one's pretty dilemma-ish. How would you dilemma-esque? Like, there's a huge dilemma in this episode, and it does ask a very tough ethical question. So, can every episode be that way? Probably not. And to Cameron's point, like, there are 10 episodes in a season of this. We all, of course, wish there were more. But if you're a creative and you're given 10 hours of TV, there's got to be so much that you want to do. Like, I would love to see the board of episode ideas at the start of a season, right? That's got to be 50 to 100 ideas, right? And they're like, all right, realistically, what can we pull together? What do we know is going to hit? That kind of a thing. So I'd love to see some of those discarded ideas, but I feel like the balance here in season 1 is pretty solid. Like, you get episodes like this, you get episodes like Elysian, you get episodes like Serene Squall, you get Spock Amok, right? Like, this is, there's some serious range in this season, which I think speaks to its strength. And I know specifically about Elysian Kingdom, I remember talking about this, and I think, Cam, it might have been you that said, like, this would normally be a season 3 or 4 episode, right? Like, or end of season 2 episode where you're like, you have all this time to establish who these people are so that it really hits you when they're out of character, when they're doing different things.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, man. I think
you got
it
a
works
cast that's
really
good.
well. Yeah. Like, and I wonder if that was, did they think to themselves, okay, let's establish them all in 7 episodes and then we'll do this? Or is it something they realized as they were writing, like, or, as they started filming, like, these people are very good. We can totally pull this off.
Well, I mean, 2 or 3 of the characters are well known, so we can show Spock acting differently. We can show her acting differently, and it hits. But that point still stands.
Yeah.
They definitely took a swing there, and it paid off. Rewatching Elysian Kingdom, I'm still like, yep, this episode works. Like, a lot of the comedy this season is still a little hit or miss for me. It hits more. Rewatching, I've said this throughout our whole podcast, like, no episode gets worse upon rewatch. They all get better. So ones I had troubles with, I continue to have less troubles with. But still, Elysian Kingdom, I'm just like, the comedy works amazingly well. The emotional beat at the end works amazingly well. It's so good.
And it does lead me to maybe my biggest complaint about all of Strange New Worlds, which was you didn't bring Rukia back for the season 3 finale. Like, you had the evil possessed alien mention Rukia to M'Benga, and you didn't bring her back? Like, she's a cosmic level balancing force, and you didn't bring her back? All right. Okay. I get it. I've since made my peace with the season 3 finale, but I mean, it felt to me like a really easy win to just be like, oh, here's the child that M'Benga let go, and she's here to help save him from the child that he lost. Like,
it turns out she's actually, the actress is a big MAGA supporter now. So
yeah,
right. That's not true, everyone. I don't know if that's true. That's just to that
welcome
point.
To Open Libel Night.
This isn't really about Rukia, except that we eventually learn that she is the Mercury Stone in the Elysian Kingdom story that's being told. However, the Elysian Kingdom story was introduced a few episodes before that with the Ghosts of Illyria, where I think, to your point, Jesse, it is a good episode. I love it a lot. Even still watching it this time, I'm like, whew, it's just traumatic backstory getting pummeled with that. Like, 3 different characters are throwing their traumatic backstories at us, and it's like, come on, guys, let's spread it out a bit. But one of them is we learn about M'Benga and Rukia. And although the episode is all about Illyrians and it's Una's episode for sure, after her little final voiceover, the episode actually ends on M'Benga reading the story to Rukia. So let's listen to how that episode ends.
It is said that in the right hands, the Mercury Stone has the power to cleanse the land of evil and bring prosperity to all. But if it were to fall into the wrong hands, the Mercury Stone's power would bring about a terrible, long-lasting dark age across the land.
And I remember 4 years ago, all of us being like, what's the Mercury Stone going to be? This is telling us the plot for the season. There's going to be some MacGuffin someone wants to get that's going to threaten the entire universe. I was hooked. I was on the edge of my seat. I'm getting chills just listening to it again. Nothing. What was the Mercury Stone? There are so many, and I mean, not Sarek, Spock's brother,
Cyborg.
is like the biggest example of like, you don't just drop that as an Easter egg. This isn't Marvel. Like, and if it was Marvel, they'd be dropping it for a reason. Like, I wonder if any of these things are going to make a comeback, or if, like, season 1, they were just throwing things at the wall and being like, we'll pick up what sticks.
Could be. Now, I think, Cameron, that you just heard that as the One Ring. Like,
I mean, it is basically.
I would be a queen, terrible and beautiful. Like, but it just reinforces what I'm saying, man. Like, in the wrong hands, this power. The wrong hands of the Vesda.
I'm down. I'm down, Jesse. If they bring back Rukia as like this MacGuffin that something in the universe wants to use her powers, and M'Benga has to like pay a hefty price that eventually leads to him, resigning duties as chief medical officer, but still staying on the Enterprise. That's going to be a tricky balance.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do with that. I'd be there for it. I'd be there. Fingers crossed.
I think we're not going to see Captain Angel or Cybok again. I don't think we're going to see Rukia again.
Angel is so good.
Honestly, if I had to put one point in time where that stopped being a possibility was the writer's strike. I think the writer's strike changed the trajectory of Strange New Worlds. I think season 3 changed stuff enough that so whatever happens in the next 16 episodes, it's not going to be referential to season 1.
Yeah.
Could be. I wouldn't be surprised. And we have to mention, I mean, Ghosts of Illyria did give us whatever tweaks your freak.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So
Ghosts of Illyria is a great episode. I rewatched that one. I was like, I'm pretty sure I like this one. I was like, oh, no, this is a good episode,
It's a medical mystery. Una shines. I mean, there's
Hammer's flat ass.
Full of ethical dilemmas. So much ethical dilemmas. Yeah, I know there's a freaking chunk of the planet's mantle in the transporter bay.
Also, we get to see is one of the few times we get to see engineering.
Yeah.
I mean,
we see it a lot in season 1, but every time we went there, I was just like, oh, it's engineering.
Yeah. It's so pretty. It's so expensive.
Yes, it is. Also, I think it's what gave us monsters.
Yes,
it is.
Yep. Yeah.
So many monsters.
Well, like it's fun to reference that line, and I hope that nobody ever thinks that we're disparaging Christina Chong's performance, because obviously we love it. And we've had her on the show before to tell her how much we love it. I just like that character. I remember going in, like when we were doing kind of our guesses and things, I remember thinking like, I am going to have a tough time liking La'an. I'm worried that it's going to be too much, retread with Khan stuff. And I remember in the first episode, I thought, oh, she's undercover. Like we should not trust her. Like,
yeah, I remember. Yeah.
She goes, I believe my phrase was, she goes from predator to prey very easily when she's trying to fool those Kylians. And I was like, oh, I don't know about this. But it's like, no, she's an amazing character, and they're doing a great job putting all that backstory together and making her something new. And obviously, we don't get all of it until season 2, but you're right, Cam, the depth of her character and the evolution of her character has been a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll get much more into it, I assume, when we do our character breakdowns at the end of the series. Yeah. But she is fascinating to me in that, like, her name is Lan Noonien Singh. And before the series even started, we're like, okay, that's going to be her deal. She is Khan's descendant. What does that mean for her? That's her deal. That's barely been her deal.
Barely.
Maybe 3 episodes they've kind of mentioned it. Like the Goran backstory is her deal. So it's very strange that they like give her this identity, but then give her this other backstory they focus on a lot more. Meanwhile, Erica has nothing this season, and Lan's got 2 backstories. Kyle has more to do in the first episode than Erica Ortegas does.
I forgot
and
she
arguably shows more range in this season.
Yeah. I miss Kyle, man. Like,
Kyle's so good. I miss Kyle.
The little look, the Spock-a-muck storyline with where Fun goes to die and his reaction when she asks about it and just the face he makes. Like, no, I've never heard that. Like, so good. So good.
Yeah.
Speaking of what's so good is our callers. Let's go in here for another one. Here is Trev.
Hey, it's Trev beaming in from the Failure to Franchise podcast to offer my report on season 1 of Strange New Worlds. Okay. Obviously, I don't want to make this too long, so I will just say this is a really important season of Trek for me because it brought me back to Star Trek. Not that I ever fully went away, but I have to admit, in the new Trek era, I had tried dipping my toe into Discovery, and it just wasn't for me. And then I'd heard such bad things about the early seasons of Picard, and I unfairly dismissed Lower Decks without seeing it as just Rick and Morty Star Trek. So I was really pretty much out. I was just kind of resolved not to bother with this new era too much anymore and just kind of live with the old Trek that I loved. And then I started hearing great buzz about the Pike episodes of Strange New Worlds. And then I heard the concept that they were going to do this new show that was more going to be in the TOS kind of mold, episodic. And so I decided to give the first episode a try. And pretty much from the first minutes and entirely the first episode, I was in love. And I have to just say, I don't think it's very arguable that this is the best first season of any Trek show, but I think it's just a perfect Trek season in general. I mean, I love both of the first 2 seasons. I don't think there's a bad episode among those first 2 seasons. And even though my 2 favorite Strange New World episodes are in season 2, I'm going to give season 1, the slight win here is just the best overall season so far because it was such a great introduction, because it really kind of revitalized what Trek can be. Also, this season wasn't entirely obsessed with the member berries and the callbacks yet that we would start to see kind of slip in more in 2 and arguably take over too much in 3. I just think this is a really good, just kind of standalone 10 great Trek stories, runs the gamut without being too obsessed with the genre exploration and everything. They're just great Trek stories. So if I just have a couple little extra seconds here, I just want to give a special shout out to Lift Us Where Suffering Cannot Reach. Not my favorite episode of the season, but one that really to me showed how strong this season was in terms of the risks it wanted to take, the challenges it wanted to take. This is great sci-fi. When you're willing to tell a story that's going to upset its viewers, that's going to really grapple with some kind of hard moral lessons. That's the episode I think where I was already really, really enjoying the show, and that's the one where I was like, oh no, this is an all-time classic Star Trek series. So yeah, season 1 holds a really, really special place in my heart. I'm glad you're revisiting it, and I will revisit this season for many years to come. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Trev.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Trev was calling in our first season, right?
I don't think so. So good to hear his thoughts on it. Yeah, I mean, we're watching it. I was kind of looking for the arcs because I feel like that's another kind of difference between from season 3 to season 1 is how they dealt with the season-long arcs. Obviously, I had some problems with the arcs in season 3 because of the writer's strike. A couple things here. I mean, I remember going back, I was like, okay, this is all about Pike's journey. This is Pike's arc to like becoming okay with his fate, which then, of course, makes his character very hard to write for the next couple seasons and why he's more support and less having his own stuff to deal with. Because what do you do with that character? And that was true. But I forgot what the main arc of season 1 is. That is harkened back to more than any other storyline is Spock and T'Pring.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have more screen time than any other single arc this season. And it reminded me, like, why kind of ship Spock and T'Pring? Like, one, Vulcan flirting, super hot. I could watch, like, a Vulcan dating show all day long because it is so funny and steamy. Also, like, I just think that they have good chemistry. I also have a theory that puts to rest the whole bare chest, hairy chest situation. I think that's just T'Pring's kink. I think she had just finished shaving him that day after they got engaged because it was a big deal. And then, of course, he's been on the ship since then. So it's grown back. But
so what you're saying is he gets to be his true self with Kirk and be nice and hairy.
That's right. Exactly. 100%. 100%. Anyway, yeah. Spock and T'Pring, they are the season 1 arc.
Pretty much. I mean, we had a dream
the entirety of the Serene Squall is Spock and T'Pring.
Yeah.
Like, that's the story of that episode. And I will kindly remind everyone here, Ankashtan Katil is not a prison. It is a rehab facility. The Vulcan Science Directorate would like to make that very clear.
I still have a lot of geography questions about that episode.
Well,
and so Quality and Mercy. Ships tend to just kind of move around in space a lot in this series, I noticed.
Well, that's what they're for. But the Serene Squall...
Not when they're not supposed to.
The Serene Squall, I think, is the episode that maybe gets forgotten more from season 1. Like it's an episode that we don't hear real frequently. Oh, that's my favorite episode. That's the one episode. It might be the silliest of the first season episodes, which is amazing considering that the next episode is a Ren Fair cosplay extravaganza. But like this has so much fun in it. And you get this, again, classic Trek thing of like, oh, there's a person who's going to help us. And then we find out partway through that is not the person we thought it was at all. You get Pike as a pirate. You get this implied backstory with Una and Pike. Oh, not Alpha Braga 4, right? Like, you get the silly mutiny based on how good is the food. Like, it's really very TOS in its level of like antics, right? Or I guess you could say shenanigans. But I do remember really liking it the first time I saw it. I feel like I haven't thought to myself to go back and watch it again more than a couple of times. And like most of the season I've seen 5, 6, 7 times, right?
Yeah.
That episode I've seen maybe 3 times.
I did notice that was the episode written by the 2 writers we have not spoken to from Strange New World. So I think that might be one of the reasons we just haven't gone back to revisit it is a lot of the times we revisit episodes because we're talking to someone who's responsible for them.
We got to get them on.
Yeah.
So this is not season 1 thing, but I got through season 1. I was like, where was Amanda? Guys, Mia Kirshner's been in 1 episode of Strange New Worlds.
I know.
1. And I'm like,
Bring her back.
but she's so damn good in that 1 episode. Like, my brain had put her in like 3 episodes. Like,
From the first season?
Yeah, I was like, where the hell
Gotcha.
is Amanda? I thought she was in one of the... Nope. She's only in charades. So we'll talk about her in our next episode for sure.
That's right.
But yeah, like got through Spock Amok. I don't know. Again,
It's better than I remember. It has a lot of my favorite moments.
It has a lot of good moments.
Some of
yeah.
the best moments.
Yeah. I don't
understand what they learned from living in each other's shoes. I was watching, I was like, okay, what do they learn by switching bodies?
Yeah.
Nothing
If
really.
anything, Pike learns more from that
Yes.
than they do.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Exactly. And yeah, I think
Pike is like, here's how I'll fix this situation. And I do Rongovians, all-time
Oh, yeah.
aliens for me.
Yes.
Love the Rongovians.
Yeah.
And-
That's I always think of Spock and Muck as like the big swing, but rewatching it, I was like, oh no, that's kind of just a subplot. Like the whole Rongovians feel very Star Trek.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
And they are only there to force a situation where Spock had to do that thing right now. I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
right.
that's why it was set up the way it was. But
Yeah.
my initial objections were, 1, they should have had sex with each other before they switched bodies back. I think that would be an incredible experience for any romantic couple to do if you have the chance. Feel how the other person feels when you're having sex with them. And 2, the whole Una and La'an, they're just fuddy-duddying it too much on this Enterprise bingo. I still think they should have gone full community paintball episode on that one. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it would have been a lot more impactful with the whole walking on the hull of the ship if it had been with some kind of cathartic realization, not just like, no, we could be fun.
That was my exact reaction. I was watching it, and I remember the first time I watched that episode when the sail flies over after they had talked about the force field. I was like, oh, it's going to brush too close to the force field, and they're going to have to like get off, and they're going to like jump through the door or whatever at the last minute and collapse on the floor and be giggling, and those 2 infants are going to walk by and see them just like losing their shit on the floor. And I'm like, that's the end to the story. That's the end. I don't understand what them looking at a pretty sail has to do with their whole story arc.
Yeah, I don't know. That plot felt very unfinished.
Mhm.
And also
Unfinished is a
Ortegas,
good
just
part.
not enough Ortegas in that. Yeah. So,
I know, but it
absolutely.
does start the Ortegas Chapel friendship, which we want more of.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do.
All right.
You know what else we want more of? Me taking a break to go to the bathroom.
All right.
I'll be right back.
Go do that.
Well, now we have to leave it.
I think that's okay.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and hear from another one of our callers. Here is Michi.
Hi guys, it's Michi. Favorite episode from season 1. That is hard. The whole first season is amazing, and I truly love all of the episodes. I love the costumes and fun everybody had on Elysian Kingdom. It is so much fun to watch and definitely my comfort episode from the first season. And I also love Lift Us Where Suffering Cannot Reach. That was such a strong episode. And it has Pike without his shirt, and that's always a big plus. And don't forget all those who wonder. Oh man, that was such a tragic but great end for Hammer. But my absolute favorite episode from season 1 is Memento Mori. That episode is just perfect. It introduces a Gorn and has the best Pike Ortega scenes in the whole series. And it is really a shame that they don't have more episodes focusing on their dynamic, because that is pure gold. And I really hope we will see some more of those two together in the upcoming seasons. That's it from me. Have a great day.
That would have been funny if at the end she was like, but my favorite episode was the Serene Squall.
Yeah.
That's why we
But
listened
yeah,
to the
Memento
clips beforehand.
Mori. I mean, like, early favorite of mine at watching
Mhm.
through, still right at the top of my rankings. Like, there's so much to love in that episode.
Mhm.
You've got, as Cam mentioned, you've got the submarine tropes. They're dropping mines on stuff. Like, you see Pike get mad.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Pike is in the heat of the moment. He's like, let's take this ship out. Like, You've got the cool pseudoscience black hole brown dwarf thing where you're like, is that how that would work?
Right
Don't
next
care.
door to an habitable planet. Yeah.
Don't care. It's gorgeous. Like, absolutely love it. And you get some more of La'an's backstory here. And here's an impromptu trivia question for you both. What is La'an's brother's first name?
Sir Nays a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Right. Wrong.
Milo?
Ooh, that's really close.
Something
That
right
is
there.
close, isn't it? Matlow.
Oh,
Matlock.
man. Manu.
Manu. Yeah, we get that Spock Lon chemistry. I was looking for it this time, and it's like, yep, I see where
Yep.
their relationship came from.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that moment after the mind meld, you're like, knowing what you know now, you're like, oh, this was here.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
somebody noticed this as they were writing it. Like, this is not out of nowhere. It
Also-
totally works.
I mean, we talked about how Lon's kind of in general cold and hard assy, but like episode 1, there is some like strife between her and Chapel that is interestingly kind of foreshadowing some
it was
season 3
super
stuff.
cool with the injections and stuff and the
Yep.
the modification. I appreciate more the Uhura Hemmer. I know we're like, no, we want Sam Kirk when we first watch it, but
Mhm.
it certainly rounded out her reaction to his death. But that whole scene and the cargo bay scene and just like that whole storyline, I'm like, oh, this is solid. This is good through and through. He's less of a dick than I remember him being. Like, I was like, oh, why is he always such a jerk with like, I didn't tell you to touch him. I'm like, oh no, he was just kind of like, he's
being an engineer.
Yeah. But I think I like that one, that, and I like Memento Mori and All Those Who Wander a little better after this rewatch.
And it has kind of, we love hearing about made up Federation holidays, like Captain Picard Day. It's like, this is absolutely in the vein of that, except it has a little more weight, right? Like, it's not so silly.
Yeah.
You've got the Remembrance Day thing going on. And yeah, it makes sense that an organization like that would have a Memorial Day analog, right? Which I think totally works. And interestingly enough, we are recording this right before Memorial Day in 2026. But yeah, I mean,
and
looking
we see
back,
Kyle lose a friend and like more in that.
Right.
And again, like there are main characters on the show, Eric Ortegas, who don't get a chance to do that this season. And Kyle's out here just showing us what
and
he's
he's
got.
so mean too.
And he's so mean here. He has layers. Kyle's an onion.
But when Ortegas does finally lose a friend, like,
No, yeah. I mean,
it's so hard.
Yeah.
It's just,
But I agree.
yeah.
I think this is a great way. Rewatching season 1 is a great way to realize Open Pike Night has been correct all along about demanding more Ortegas. More Ortegas.
Yes. Which episode do you remember? Do you remember like that hashtag appearing in your head during a moment in an episode, Jesse?
It was either Children of the Comet or Ghosts of
think it was
Illyria.
Ghosts
if
of
I had
Illyria.
if I had to guess,
Mhm.
because Ghosts of Illyria is kind of the first real big indication we get of her personality,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right? Children of the Comet is where we see, okay, she is very skilled. Like, this is
Sure.
something we've literally never seen before in Star Trek. So it had to be right around in there.
Yeah.
That's my
I
guess.
think it was the tweak your freak, maybe. Is what
I
it
think
popped in your
that,
head.
and the fact
I
that we
think
never
so.
saw her again after that scene. We were talking about where the hell is Ortegas in all this? Like, we didn't get to see her because I remember us joking that like her reaction would just be to be like in a hammock on the bridge with the lights turned up and still piloting, being
Right.
just fine otherwise.
just rolled herself in Christmas lights.
Oh man, I kind of want to see that scene again. But yeah, I mean, we will definitely have to get to the Kirk of it all. But first, why don't we hear from our final caller for the night?
All right, here is Abby.
Hey, Open Pike. Abby Summer from the First Flight podcast. I am also doing an all 3 seasons rewatch before the new season of Strange New Worlds, so great minds here. Okay, what do I have to say about my favorite episodes of this season? I think that I come down on Spock Amok and The Elysian Kingdom, partly because the costuming in both is impeccable, and we know that fills my heart, but also because they both give me big emotions. I love the scarier ones, I love the sadder ones, I love the more intense ones, but these ones just have a special place for me. And Spock Amok is definitely a comfort watch episode, and I love Mbenga. I've been excited for him since you asked for who do you want to see be developed well before season 1 ever started, and The Elysian Kingdom gives us just that. And I've always been a sucker for a story in a story, so that works out perfectly for me. I think this was an incredibly strong first season. It showed diversity of story, but at the same time gave us great views into our characters, into their backstories, into their growing relationships, and it showed what modern Trek could really do with special effects and all of the bells and whistles. So this was a strong out-of-the-gate first season, one of the strongest of modern Trek. So bravo, can't wait to see what you all think, and talk to you soon.
I don't know if this is a hot take, but Mbenga is my favorite Trek Doctor. Like, because of Strange New Worlds, he is my absolute favorite. Like, if I needed a doctor with me on an away team, that's who I'm picking. Like, no shade to Bev, no shade to Julian, no shade to McCoy, no shade to the Hollow Doctor, no shade to Dr. Ta'ana. Is that all of them?
Phlox.
No shade to Phlox. Do love Phlox a lot. Phlox is very fun. But I think Mbenga, for me, is the most complete character. Like,
Phlox isn't going to take out a whole squad of Klingons single-handedly.
Yeah. And
Although
like,
I'd love to see that.
And not break a sweat, but then later on feel
but you
bad
haven't
about
watched
it.
all
Like,
of Enterprise. Like,
I
Phlox,
haven't.
Phlox couldn't not take out a whole squad of Klingons. I'll just put that out. Phlox, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's not.
Phlox has some darkness, yeah. But I think Mbenga feels very real to me. Like, he has all those layers, right? Like the parent and the mentor and the doctor who wants to help people, and the former soldier who had to, do things that he wasn't proud of, and those things come back to haunt him. And he's so complex, and all of his performances are mind-blowingly good. And that doesn't even touch on his comedic performances.
Oh,
like,
man. I have no
Explode,
idea
you
what
say?
I'm talking
Like,
about.
like that. I don't want to be a bunny.
Yeah.
Like, he's got Michael Dorn Worf levels of delivery on these comedic lines that just absolutely slay. And I really love this character. I'm glad to hear Abby bring him up, because I think it's arguable that he has had kind of the most happen to him. Like, he has the most intense journey of any of these characters to this point. Like, it's touched every part of his life, and everything that happens in season 1 with him matters for the rest of the series, right? Like, there's no part of this that gets forgotten. And like, just the mention of Rukia in season 3, I was like, oh, you're killing my guy. Like, just let him have some peace. We need the Pike and Mbenga fishing episode. Like, if they don't go fishing in the Western episode in season 4, I'm going to be upset. All right.
And we know they can't give him a romance because even Paramount Plus couldn't air that episode. So that'd be too hot.
Certainly not
too
anymore.
Hot for streaming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love in Quality of Mercy, there's, he's talking and he's like, well, I'm anti-war or whatever. I forget the line, but he is over there being like, we cannot go to war. War brings out the worst in people. And like, they hadn't developed this whole war backstory. I mean, I think they might have, had some hints, but like, this was one of them. Like, this guy knows what war does to people, and he is going to do everything to prevent it from happening. I do another kind of little hanging Chad. I don't know. Something that's
Florida joke.
Yep. Anyway, his and La'an's eye thing in episode 1, that never gets brought back, right? Because I remember thinking like, I remember thinking it was him and Chapel, and that like when their backstory must have been that. But no, it was La'an. And we never learn about him and La'an doing any covert missions during the Klingon War.
As far as we know, they just met during her physical. Like,
but they do the eye thing.
Yep.
Maybe it's a universal signal among badasses. Like, when you get your badass card, they're like, by the way, do this.
Okay.
So that at the next meeting we know
you can
that
find
it's
another
you.
badass and you know who.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It all goes back to Bill Duke from Predator with the I see. So it's just
Right.
become that over the years. Yeah.
I could dig it. And I would absolutely take the Mbenga covering himself in mud to evade an alien episode. I don't
Mbenga
care.
versus a predator. Yes.
Really, do any pastiche you want. You put Mbenga in it, I'm there. I don't care.
Mbenga, pet detective.
Yeah, like it works. Mbenga, kindergarten cop. Like,
I do want to talk more about Quality of Mercy.
Yes.
I still
Let's
have
do
some
it.
big problems with the conceit of it. I don't think they really sell the conceit that they never posit what Kirk would have done differently. And that kind of is an issue for me. But there's so much good stuff in this episode. And one thing I was watching, we talked about like La'an being much more season 3 La'an than season 1. Somehow they knew that already in episode 10. Also, like, I remember watching this and being like, remembering how we felt when we got a little more Ortegas and she was having some issues. We saw some darkness in Ortegas and being like, oh, we wanted more of the happy Ortegas, but I forgot how much we get of the dark Ortegas here.
Yeah.
And so they set up that this is a part of her character. What she goes through in season 3, something akin to it must have happened between, leading up to the events of Quality of Mercy. And so I thought that was really interesting. And seeing her, her bigotry towards the Romulans definitely resonated with her bigotry towards the Gorn and Terrarium. And it just made me realize Terrarium is as much a sequel to Quality of Mercy as it is a prequel to Arena. Like, I hadn't really made that connection, but it is there.
I like that.
yeah, and I think in A Quality of Mercy, Ortegas is kind of locked into just much more being a stand-in for
Right.
that character from Balance of Terror. But I mean, it's a good point because it gives you that, like, the basis for understanding, like, okay, she's not perfect, right? Like, a thing that happens with a lot of Star Trek characters is like, oh, well, they're perfect. And then the conflict of an episode is, well, maybe they're not perfect, So I think it's a really good point. And I did love A Quality of Mercy. I really loved it. I love Matthew McFadden's performance as the Romulan commander, like, just Mark Leonard enough to be like, okay, I know who this character is. But I think it also really serves, like, if you hadn't seen Balance of Terror, then as soon as you hear people talk about how this episode is related to that, you're going to go watch Balance of Terror, right?
100%,
Like,
that's what I did.
you're like, I got to go find that because this is amazing.
And then watch this one again.
But yeah, I think, again, we have to talk about the Kirk of this. And it's like, is this too early? Like, is this too callbacky to Memberberry, as Trev suggested? Like, is this too much of a, oh, you gotta know some TOS stuff to really grasp onto this episode? And I would argue you don't need that, but it absolutely adds to it. So I don't know, like, I know a lot of people after this were like, this is not James T. Kirk. And I stand by 100% that it's because his hair color is different and he's very thin. And I feel like that's not really a fair way to say this is not Kirk. But I think character-wise, this was Kirk. Like, this, I mean, he says straight out, like, here's what I would do. This is what I think we should do.
No,
when
does he say that? He never says that.
He says you need to take this ship out. Like, this is, and that's what he does.
But they
in
never
Balance of
had
Terror.
the opportunity to take it out. And then when they made their plan, it was that the ship, there's never a point where, like, Kirk was like, let's do A, and Pike was like, let's do B, and then they did B, and that's why everything went down the way it did.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you haven't seen Balance of Terror, then that point is going to get lost. I agree with you completely.
Seen Balance of Terror, you realize Kirk is way more Pike in that than he is Kirk in this.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a good point, but it is, I think they were attempting to, and I'm agreeing with you that I don't think they quite nailed this because they're trying to show you, like, no, Pike is more level-headed. He takes more suggestions. He's more, trying to think of what's the best way everyone can win. He's more about compromise.
Yeah.
Right. He's more about compromise and peace, whereas Kirk was very much, I've given you your orders, do your thing. But it's like, every Star Trek captain takes suggestions and works toward compromise. Like, that's not a defining feature of just Pike. There's
a whole scene of Kirk asking McCoy what he should do in the situation because of the moral ambiguity of it all. Like, right. Yeah. And so I agree that it wasn't quite nailed.
But as an episode of TV, watching it, I had a ton of fun with it.
Yeah.
And I was like,
a lot of great stuff. Yeah.
yeah. And I was excited to see the resolution, and like, pretty cool to give Kirk his whole own fleet of, what were they, mining vessels, I think?
Mining drones, yeah.
It's like, that's pretty cool. Like, this is your effects
then somehow
budget
he beams
exploding.
through a shield.
But also, it doesn't end up really mattering. Like, well, you still lose and they still start a war and all that stuff, you know, so it's like, I don't know.
Well, to your point, I mean, I think, I don't think he's acting like Kirk in this. I think it is more than just physical. But I'm on the record of saying I think he gets there by season 3. But I think conceptually, like bringing an alternate version of Kirk into this episode made a lot of sense. There's a lot of watching this, I was like, oh, it makes perfect sense to deal with T'Pring, because around this time is when Spock would be engaged to her. And of course, that would be a plot point. And we've never dealt with any of that. So you got lots of freedom to roam there. Mm-hmm. Bringing in the Gorn is a little like, okay, you guys really want to do the Gorn and you're going to twist some stuff to, okay. And then like Kirk meeting Pike when he's a fleet captain for a day is kind of a wedging it in there. But then this, I mean, the way they did it, I thought was a really great idea. Like I give, the ambition and concept make up for the execution a lot in my mind.
Well, and with the additional layer of like, this is an alternate Kirk, right? Like I think I spent a year saying like we still haven't seen from Prime Kirk. Yes, leave him alone. But
and I know a lot of people in our Discord are like, I liked it when they were just showing us different alternate Kirks. When they bring in the real Kirk, that's when it kind of started feeling like, hey, give Pike some room to breathe.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with that. I can understand the complaint of like, I thought this was the Pike show. Why is there so much Kirk? Like, I think the musical in particular, it's like, we don't need,
he did not need that
Captain Kirk in this episode. Like, it's okay for him to not be here. Like, La'an has plenty of emotional reasons to feel the ways she feels. And you could have just had that message, right? Where he's like, oh yeah, sorry. I'm about to have a kid. Like, you didn't need him on the ship. You didn't need all this stuff going on. But I do like his performance, and I think if I had to pick a favorite Kirk performance from this show total, it would probably be Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. I feel like that's very Kirk. It's very Voyage Home Kirk. Like here's him in a past time, and he's got this kind of like aloof, confident guy thing going on. Like, sure, I could drive a car. Why wouldn't I be able to drive a car? Which we have seen Kirk do in TOS. Like, there's a lot, to talk about with the Kirk of this whole thing. But I do remember loving this episode, and I think by the time this episode aired, they knew there was going to be a season 2. But you can absolutely see why when you're writing this season and you don't know if you're getting a season 2, especially if you're a huge TOS fan, like, at some point you're going to go, let's do a remake of episode X, right? Like, and I will say, I'm actually really glad that they chose this and that they didn't choose like Doomsday Machine or something, right? Where it's like, okay, this is like, you are taking the biggest possible swing you can. Like, Balance of Terror, amazing episode, all-time great of TOS, but it is not like, I don't think it's necessarily as huge as City on the Edge of Forever or Doomsday Machine, that kind of a thing. So I'm glad they went this way with it.
Well, just plot-wise, too, if you need an episode from TOS of, like, the characters were on a knife's edge of, like, being submitted to endless war or not, like, this is the one. If you need something to show, like, the difference between Pike and Kirk, to teach Pike why he has to.
It's pretty much this or Arena. I mean,
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Would be a funny
exactly.
But speaking of La'an and Kirk, like, I had forgotten that she's his number 1 on the Farragut, and we know the chemistry between La'an and Kirk. Is there some breach of protocol happening over on the Farragut?
Absolutely.
And it's interesting that she ends up with chemistry with both Kirk and Spock.
Yeah.
Right? Like, at
She's
some
just a
point,
TOS fangirl.
Right. At some point, there will be a scene where they're like, do we not need her for this? Like, should we just cut out the middle La'an?
To hear more about this kind of conversation, listen to the Polyamateur Hour coverage of Pucking Around, featuring Open Puck Night. There'll be lots of talk about that.
Yeah, how
Please
cool.
do.
And like, slight digression, but how cool to have our pun-based podcast name inserted into a pun within a pun
Yes.
for a segment on another show. Like, definitely, if you're not listening to Polyamateur Hour, please check it out. It is just a font of joy.
Probably 2 episodes from their last one, if you're listening to this on drop day, they had like the most amazing Star Trek song at the end about a Star Trek sex club. And it's like if a dirty Weird Al, it's a Lonely Island. I like, it is up to par of a Lonely Island song. It is so good.
Oh, absolutely. And they crank those songs out
So
constantly.
fast.
How they do
Yeah.
it. There could be an album.
Yes.
Like, maybe that'll be our next campaign. Hashtag polyalbumture hour.
There you go.
We'll
Yeah.
come up with something better than that.
In the meantime, also send in any questions you have for Martin Quinn, because we'll probably have had a call to action out by now, but unless scheduling just falls through, we'll be talking to him soon.
Yeah.
So be sure to send those
Yeah,
thoughts.
get your season 3 questions in, and I don't know, season 4 questions. We never know. We might.
We can't promise I'll answer,
but never hurts to try. But hey, it's.
But if there's anybody that can squeeze like a tiny little bit of extra information out of an interview, I think we've shown that it can be us,
yeah,
right?
We can do that.
Al Dentio.
They like us. It's been really fun looking back at season 1 with you guys.
Oh, we got to talk about, because it's been verified in our Discord, but she has said it out loud to fans now. I think John knew. I definitely knew from our set visit. Jenna Mitchell will not be in seasons 4 and 5, sadly. Yep. But so rewatching all this, I was definitely paying attention to her and just being like, yes, she was one of those great secondary characters. Yeah. She's not in every episode or every scene, but when she is there, she makes the scene better.
Yes, she does.
She's been great. And we'll talk more about her next couple season reviews, but yeah.
And to her credit, it seems like it's mostly because her career is kind of taken off. Like,
it was entirely because of scheduling.
She's got a lot going on.
Yeah, that's what we were told. They wanted her back, but yeah, she got a new series, and their schedule had kind of gotten all mixed up because of the writer's strike and the sudden season 5, so they couldn't make it work.
Was she the one who was basically like, I just decided to be famous, so I started mailing out headshots and got...
Was it her?
I think that was Jennifer Hui.
That's who it was. Yeah. Opera school dropout. I had fun watching her in this again, too.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, but if this is somehow the first episode of Open Pike Night that you've ever heard, go check out the backlog.
Yeah.
We've got interviews with everybody. I'll just say everybody, because they're all in there. And we are very happy to have you aboard. We hope that you will continue to stick around with us, especially with season 4 coming up in just over a month.
2 months.
About 2 months. I'm very excited for season 4. There's going to be a cowboy episode
And a dinosaur episode.
I'm sold. Yeah.
This is going to rule. So we're
And a puppet episode. Yeah. Let's not forget the puppet episode.
Yeah, the big swings are not abating. We are not going back to season 1,
no,
guys.
we're
I
not.
can say
not
that
at all.
for sure.
So yeah, get your calls in. Keep watching. We're going to be covering season 2 and season 3 in our next couple episodes. So be sure to watch those and send in calls with your thoughts, like our great callers today. And we will. Sorry. Just.
But that is going to do it for this evening. It has been a long night, and the hosts of Open Pike Night have a lot of Strange New Worlds to watch. We still got 20 episodes that we got to cover from the next 2 seasons, and we're going to need your help doing that. So why don't you get everything together, get a nice snack, cuddle up in your blanket, put in your physical media copies of Strange New Worlds, and start watching through it. That having been said, be sure to clean up after yourselves, be sure to tip your servers, and remember, you can go anywhere that you want, but you can't stay here.